Joining us right now is Massachusetts Secretary of the Commonwealth, William Galvin, whose office subpoenaed the bank. William, thank you for being here today. Why don't you talk a little bit about what you're concerned about, what you've seen? It's those stock sales in the days leading up to the closure of the bank.
Well, our main concern is for our Massachusetts depositors and investors. You know, when the close with SVB, we had people standing in the street, unable to get to their money, trying to get into the bank with a police officer. You may have seen the pictures in the Wall Street Journal, standing, preventing them from doing that. Our folks shouldn't have to deal with that. And we obviously do not want to see First Republic get in a similar situation. But clearly, there's enough evidence out there already that some of the strategies employed by First Republic, similar to SVB, were clearly risky. You know, over the last couple of weeks, since we've had this crisis, and especially since the congressional hearings, we've heard an awful lot about how everybody knew and federal regulators were aware of it. Well, that's not a solution. The answer is let's get to the bottom of it. Let's determine what the situation is. We do know in First Republic we've had a massive infusion of capital from other banks, so obviously there's reason for concern. We have awareness of the fact that there were significant stock sales by executives going back for several months leading up to the current time. And we want to explore that and see what they said and what they did and determine what the situation is. We hope that obviously First Republic will survive. But I think, as I said earlier, we've seen evidence in the past that the federal regulators were aware of it. From the state perspective, our interest is simply making sure that our citizens are protected. Very often, the federal government takes more time to get things done. Sometimes the states are more nimble.
More nimble and going after it, meaning what? If these were stock sales that were set up on a regular basis, which is what they've said to this point, is there anything you could do about that? Yeah, that's what I wonder.
Again, we don't know what they did until we get a response to our subpoena. Their attorneys have been in touch with my office. We expect they will respond, and we'll examine it. We're not prejudging it, but I think there's enough reason to be concerned, and the concern is really what has to be acted upon. Clearly, the instability, your earlier guest was speaking about financial stability. That's extremely important for the country, for the economy, but it's also important for individual investors and depositors. They need to be aware of the fact that their deposits, their investments, whatever their interactions with these banks are safe. And that's my mission. It's very simple. I would be happy if nothing occurs and hopefully the bank goes on its way and continues to prosper or prospers. That would be good. But we don't know that, and we'd be negligent if we didn't investigate.
If you find that there was something amiss, that these were stock sales that weren't on a regular program, what would your recourse be? What could you do?
Well, obviously, I do regulate stock sales in Massachusetts. We'd be interested, and we always have the concerns about unethical or dishonest behavior if that were found, and I'm not prejudging it by saying that's the case. But I think it's important to get that out there. The mere fact that this particular bank didn't have to report to the SEC because of the way it was held, and in fact only had to report to the banking FDIC, it just points out to the anomalies in the whole process. I mean, the one thing that's I don't think anybody can dispute is that there's a lot of uncertainty in banking regulation in this country right now at a time when we need some certainty. And as I said, I think the objective here is to make sure that our investors and our depositors are protected. That's it.